Let's get started with our first news. Daniel Cormier thinks Paddy Pimblett needs one more good win before challenging for the lightweight title. DC insists that Ilya versus Arman is the fight to make. I know for a fact that they were considering Paddy versus Justin, and a win over Justin, after what he's already done, would have been huge. Now, I would have bought Paddy fighting for the belt right now, because I still believe he needs to continue to grow in the octagon a little bit. He's ridden the ship, and now he's fought so well that you just go, man, the way he beat Chandler, we've never seen anything like that before. But Ilya is a different beast. He's a savage. So is Arman. I truly believe Arman versus Ilya is the fight to make. 100%. From the interactions they've had, you can tell those guys don't like each other. Ilya said he slapped him the other day. And Arman said he touched his face, and now Ilya's saying he slapped him. That tension alone makes it easy to build a fight between these two. When you build a fight between them, you feel like it's going to be very competitive. You feel like there's a real chance Arman can win, but you also know there's not a person in the world that Ilya can't beat. That's the thing with these great champions. They push each other to the limit. There's nothing better than going into a fight knowing both fighters are going to have their hands full, knowing they're going to be challenged from the opening bell. Paddy has made a name for himself with his performances, but DC believes the timing for the title shot isn't quite right yet. He wants Paddy to gain more experience, continue to improve, and make sure he's fully ready to step into that championship-level competition. Meanwhile, the Ilya versus Arman matchup has everything you want: bad blood, skill, and the potential for an explosive contest. Fans can expect fireworks when these two go head-to-head, and it's a fight that could define the lightweight division for months to come. Daniel Cormier's insight shows the importance of timing and growth in the UFC. He emphasizes that champions are built by facing challenges that truly test them. Right now, Ilya versus Arman is that test, while Paddy continues his rise toward the top. The anticipation is real, and the stage is set for some incredible matchups in the lightweight division. Move on to another news. Conor McGregor and Khabib continue their heated exchange. Today, let's get into the latest drama between the two. As Conor embarks on his incredible spiritual journey, it seems the one thing he still can't get over is the whole Khabib situation. Yesterday, we reported that McGregor and Khabib got into it online. Conor called out Khabib for, in his words, scamming his fan base with digital papakas, which apparently made Khabib $4.3 million. That's insane! Since then, the two have continued going back and forth. The situation escalated after Khabib responded to Conor, saying he'll never darken his name after getting destroyed in the octagon. Well, after that tweet, Conor went on X and fired back with a message that read, "Apologize this instant for using your late father's name to sell these gifts that cost your fans so much of their money. Also, to sell something means it is not a gift, you low IQ troglodyte." That is the direct opposite of what gift means. Da-da-da, dumb, haha, scamming on your dead daddy's name, shame. This then led Khabib to fire back, saying, "My account is 56 former addicts at my rehabilitation centers in Dagestan that I treated. Come to Dagestan, Conor McGregor. They'll take care of you here. Mexico didn't help you as far as I can see." Conor responded almost immediately, saying, "And who will I be meeting there? Because it won't be you. Lol, you can't scam me with your lies. You tax-dodging scammer on the run. Your poor family, I pray. I pray for your constant lies. I pray while you lie. You should be honest because Allah knows all." The exchange finally ended last night with Conor joking about getting a digital papa. "Habib, I just got one of Abdul Manab Papaka hats that you were selling online. Yeah, I got it off some guy from India, and he got it off some guy from Pakistan. This is your legacy. I'm so happy. Yeah, Dad's Papaka legacy." Many people in the community called out Conor for doing something similar a while back when he tried to change the crypto game with a coin called Real. McGregor's coin ended up failing hard, as they wanted to raise a minimum of $1 million, but only ended up with around $30,000. However, after the lack of funding, the token refunded everyone, so it wasn't technically a scam. The Conor and Khabib drama continues to heat up online, showcasing the ongoing tension and rivalry between two of the biggest names in MMA. The exchanges are entertaining, aggressive, and full of sharp insults, keeping fans glued to every post and comment. The saga remains one of the most talked about stories in combat sports right now. Move on to another news. Khamzat Chimaev has agreed to fight Nassourdine Imavov, and the bout is set to take place after Ramadan. Earlier today, Nassourdine took to social media to update fans, tweeting about a productive meeting with the UFC. He said, "Had a good conversation with UFC. I told them, title shot only. If we have to wait, we'll wait. No distractions, no detours. Great things require great preparation. Make no mistake, I'll be ready. I'm not used to waiting, but this time I have to." Khamzat reacted to Nassourdine's tweet with excitement, confirming that he is down to fight Imavov once Ramadan concludes on March 19, 2026. Khamzat teased fans, saying, "See you after Ramadan, Imavov. You have time to work on your wrestling, Bratishka." The anticipation for this matchup has been growing steadily, as both fighters bring unique skill sets and aggressive styles to the octagon. Fans are already speculating on who will come out on top in what promises to be a high-level contest. Nassourdine has made it clear that he is focused entirely on the fight, emphasizing discipline, preparation, and patience. His tweet shows a mindset of a fighter who is willing to wait for the right opportunity, understanding that title shots don't come easy. His commitment to being fully prepared demonstrates the kind of mental strength and strategic thinking that separates elite fighters from the rest. Meanwhile, Khamzat's confidence and readiness to engage immediately after Ramadan highlights his relentless pursuit of competition. The clash between Khamzat and Nassourdine represents more than just a fight. It's a test of skill, endurance, and tactical intelligence. Fans are already anticipating the wrestling battles, striking exchanges, and the overall intensity that both athletes bring. The timing of the fight, post-Ramadan, ensures that both fighters will be able to dedicate themselves fully to training, recovery, and strategic planning. This matchup is quickly becoming one of the most talked about bouts in the UFC, with both fighters having strong followings and reputations for dominance in their respective weight classes. Analysts are predicting a compelling encounter, highlighting Khamzat's aggressive pressure and Nassourdine's technical prowess. The fight promises to be a clash of styles, showcasing a combination of explosive offense, disciplined defense, and high-level MMA IQ from both athletes. Fans are marking their calendars for March 19, 2026, eagerly awaiting what is expected to be an electrifying showdown in the octagon. The stage is set, the fighters are ready, and the anticipation is reaching a fever pitch as the UFC gears up for one of its most compelling matchups of the year. Move on to another news. Daniel Cormier fires shots at Jon Jones on Instagram, continuing what seems like an endless feud between the two MMA legends. DC has never been shy about sharing his thoughts on Jon, whether it's personal or professional, and this time was no different. While Jon Jones was in Chechnya attending an exclusive party for the president's son and signing a major ambassador deal, Daniel Cormier was on Instagram, commenting directly on a video of Jon, questioning why he wasn't spending time with his family for Thanksgiving. Everyone knows DC can be petty at times, but this one felt particularly personal. His comment read, "Why is Jon Jones not with his family on Thanksgiving holiday?" It's a subtle jab, but coming from Daniel Cormier, it carries all the weight of their long-standing rivalry. Fans immediately took notice, and the post began circulating across social media platforms, reigniting debates about the relationship between the two fighters. For years, Cormier and Jon Jones have had one of the most heated rivalries in UFC history. From their battles in the octagon to verbal exchanges outside of it, the tension between them has never fully subsided. Daniel's recent Instagram post is just the latest example of him continuing to keep their rivalry alive, even when Jon is engaged in other endeavors. The post highlights DC's ability to combine humor, critique, and personal insight, all while staying in the public eye and maintaining his presence as a vocal figure in the sport. Jon Jones, known for his dominance inside the octagon and his charisma outside of it, has often drawn criticism for his personal choices and lifestyle. DC's comment about Thanksgiving subtly challenges Jon's priorities, emphasizing family over fame, and it resonates with fans who have followed their saga for years. This ongoing back and forth illustrates how competitive MMA personalities can extend beyond the cage, with social media becoming another arena for conflict and conversation. Even outside of active competition, both fighters continue to dominate headlines. Daniel Cormier's willingness to openly criticize Jon, even in casual or seemingly minor situations, shows the depth of their rivalry and how long-standing grudges in MMA can persist. This interaction is more than just a petty jab. It's a reminder of the history, the battles, and the ongoing story between two of the sport's most compelling figures. The feud remains a key talking point for fans and analysts alike, proving that in MMA, some rivalries never truly fade. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev is still in Khabib's shadow, according to Tyron Woodley. Now that Islam has become a two-division champ, many observers have debated whether his legacy now compares to that of his longtime friend and teammate, Khabib. However, Woodley doesn't think Islam has eclipsed Khabib just yet. Ever since Makhachev joined the UFC, he's been closely connected to his buddy Khabib. So much so that for years, hardly a conversation about Islam would take place without Khabib being mentioned. Although Islam does not have an undefeated record like Khabib, he has accomplished something the legend never did: winning both the UFC's lightweight and welterweight titles. Despite that, Woodley recently explained in an interview with the new betting sites that he still believes Khabib's legacy is greater. "He's still in the shadow of Khabib," Woodley said. "When I hear Islam, I can't think of Islam by himself. When I hear the word Islam, I think of Khabib. The first thing you say is Khabib's prodigy. That's all I'm thinking of." The former welterweight champ also added, "He didn't beat me for a welterweight championship. He didn't beat George St. Pierre. No disrespect to the guy, but he's still fairly unknown internationally as a fighter. It was Jack Della Madalena's first ever title defense, and it was a style made in heaven for Islam. I feel like he's still in the shadows of Khabib." It's an interesting argument, especially considering Islam defended the lightweight title 4 times, while Khabib did it 3 times. Of course, finishing a career with a perfect 29-0 record, like Khabib did, is a significant ace when debating legacies. All that aside, Woodley is now preparing to face another legend, namely Anderson Silva. It was recently announced that Woodley has stepped up to replace Chris Weidman in a boxing match against Silva. The bout is scheduled for December 19th on the Netflix card in Miami, which will be headlined by Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Following the announcement, Silva was quoted saying, "I believe that change always happens for a reason. I'm focused on doing a good job, always respecting my opponent and showing total respect to the boxing world." Tyron, meanwhile, reportedly said, "Rising to occasions like this are the moments where legends are born." With Islam's legacy being compared to Khabib's and Woodley stepping into the boxing ring against Silva, the MMA and combat sports world continues to witness legends being tested and new chapters being written. Move on to another news. Dana White makes a huge announcement during the halftime show. Earlier this morning, the UFC revealed that Dana White would be going on Instagram Live to announce something big during the Cowboys vs. Chiefs game today on CBS and Paramount. Shortly after, the UFC dropped a trailer for the new Paramount deal, which featured Ilia Topuria facing off with Paddy Pimblett. Fans were immediately buzzing with speculation, and now Dana has officially confirmed the news during the game. The main event for UFC 324 will be Paddy versus Guy for the interim lightweight title. Dana White also revealed that the UFC 325 main event will feature Volk versus Lopez, scheduled to take place just 1 week later. The excitement continues as we reflect on the upcoming Gachi versus Paddy matchup for the interim title. Earlier, Ilia posted, "I'm dealing with some personal problems, so I'm not going to fight the first quarter," which makes the interim title fight even more significant. The winner of Gachi versus Paddy will eventually face Ilia, along with Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes for the bantamweight title, setting up some incredible matchups. The card also features O'Malley versus Sonia Dong, Waldo Cortez versus Derek Lewis, and Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. Waldo is coming off a win just a week ago, taking the fight on 2 days' notice and scoring a knockout, adding to an already impressive year. His matchup against Derek Lewis promises to be an explosive contest full of action. Additionally, Alexa Grasso will face Rose Namajunas, while Umar Namadev will take on Figueroa. These fights were added just a few hours ago, rounding out a dynamic lineup for UFC 324. Fans are already hyped for the combination of rising stars and established champions, all competing on one card that will deliver non-stop action and intense matchups. 1 week later, UFC 325 will headline with Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez on Paramount+, taking place on January 31st in Sydney, Australia. The UFC continues to expand globally, bringing top-tier fighters and championship bouts to an international audience. With title fights, interim championships, and action-packed undercards, these events are shaping up to be some of the most exciting in recent UFC history. Dana White's announcements have set the stage for a major start to the year, keeping fans engaged and eager for every matchup. From interim titles to international showcases, the UFC is proving why it remains at the forefront of combat sports, delivering excitement, rivalries, and legendary battles in every event. Move on to another news. Dana White releases a fighter from the UFC roster following UFC Qatar. With UFC 323 coming up next weekend, there's plenty of news to cover, and this development has caught the attention of the MMA community. Yesterday, it was revealed that Marak Bülow has been officially released from the UFC after some interesting events he shared on social media. According to his manager, Bartosz Barkiak, Marak was cut due to declining a quick turnaround fight for UFC 324. For those who may have missed it, Bülow recently lost to Denzel Freeman this past weekend in Qatar. Following that fight, the UFC reportedly wanted him to step back into the octagon for another bout, but Marak declined the opportunity. The reason for his decision was an injury sustained during his fight in Qatar. Despite this, UFC management decided to release him from the roster, citing his refusal to take the fight on just 2 weeks' notice. It's important to note that this perspective comes from the fighter's side, so the UFC may have other considerations that contributed to the release. Still, the timing and circumstances have sparked conversations among fans, analysts, and fellow fighters, as quick turnarounds have historically been a point of contention for many athletes. Injuries, recovery, and proper preparation are all critical for fighters competing at the highest level, and Marak's situation highlights the challenges of balancing career opportunities with health and readiness. Releasing a fighter under these circumstances is not unprecedented, but it does underline the UFC's focus on maintaining an active roster capable of meeting scheduling demands and delivering consistent, high-level matchups. Fighters in the UFC are often expected to seize opportunities on short notice, and while some thrive under these conditions, others, like Bülow, may face limitations due to injury or other factors. The UFC has consistently emphasized that the organization is results-driven, with performance, commitment, and availability playing significant roles in roster decisions. Marak Bülow's release serves as a reminder of the high stakes and competitive pressures that come with being part of the UFC. Fans and analysts are now looking ahead to UFC 323 and UFC 324, assessing how other fighters will navigate the demanding schedule and how roster changes may impact future matchups. As the UFC continues to evolve, the combination of athlete performance, management decisions, and unforeseen circumstances like injuries will continue shaping the landscape of the sport. Marak Bülow's release is one of many developments that demonstrate how unforgiving and competitive MMA can be at the highest level. Fighters must constantly balance preparation, health, and opportunity to maintain their standing within the UFC and pursue championship aspirations.